Plug this.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining our team call tonight. Just for this week, if you're coming to our team retreat, just try to make sure that you're there on time. Make sure you check if you're doing photos or makeup that you're here on time because we got a lot of jam-packed stuff coming up on Saturday. So get excited for that. If you haven't seen, Jessica Bryson won the $1,000 for Coeur de Force. So go to her page. How freaking exciting is that? Definitely go give her, a good high five for that. So I met, if you guys didn't read my post for the team call, I met Amy at the leadership event. We were getting lost trying to find sushi because we were like starving, and they shuttled us into like the little town that we were in, and we were both like walking with our group of people, and then we were both like, yeah, we're looking for sushi, and it was a ton of fun, and we had ice cream and went to this really cool hotel thing. But I hope, Amy, if you don't mind sharing your story too on how you got started with Beachbody. So she was with her sister and her brother. So her sister, and her brother were both at leadership. And it freaking blew my mind. Her entire freaking family is rocking Beachbody completely. So Amy, if you don't mind sharing your story and taking it over. Amy was elite coach for last year. I'm sure she'll be one for this year. She was top 100. She's ranked 86th right now in the company. Success Club All-Star legend. So that means she's hit Success Club for 2 years straight, just being consistent. So Amy, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was so funny and random how we met, but it was a good night. So yeah, my brother actually started as a coach, I think in 2008. And I was actually just a senior in high school. And he had graduated college and got a CPA and was working crazy hours, and he had gained, I think he gained 30 pounds, and he saw the infomercial for P90X. And he was a college athlete and everything. So he went from working out all the time to sitting at a desk. So he did P90X and he lost the weight, and he was talking to one of his old lacrosse teammates from college, and he had mentioned that he had done P90X, and that friend was actually a coach. And he was like, wait, you've already done the program, you have to sign up as a coach. And his coach really didn't know what he was doing too much. So my brother really he was like, all right, I'll sign up. And it was before Shakeology and everything. It was just the vitamins. And it was basically, he was like, get these vitamins, get to Emerald. And at the time, if you were an Emerald coach, you got free leads from Beachbody without hitting Success Club, which I'm glad they changed that. So you have to put a little skin in the game. But anyway, he signed my mom up and he signed me up. And he got to Emerald and started getting the free leads from Beachbody just for being an Emerald coach. And he started basically paying for his vitamins. So he was using the vitamins. It worked out for him. But he really wanted my whole family to work the business. And I was like, no, thanks, not interested. I was 18. So he basically signed me up as a discount coach to help him. And my mom actually got really into the business side of things. And just going back a tiny bit, he had got us all, he lived in Boston at the time, and we all went to his house and were on the floor doing P90X in his living room. And that's when he was like, okay, you guys are all going to sign up. So anyway, fast forward, my mom was doing pretty well with it, and they kept trying to get me to do it through college. And as soon as Shakeology came out, my mom was buying it for me every month. So I was drinking it. I was doing the workouts in my dorm room. I was doing Insanity. I did it in my college house. My roommates thought I was crazy, but I really did. I loved the programs. I loved Shakeology, but I had no interest in the business whatsoever for 5 years. And just 6 months before I decided I wanted to work the business, my mom had asked me again if I was going to, actually do the business. And I was like, no, I'm not interested. No, thanks. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to, get rid of your spot then and transfer somebody else into it. So she canceled my account, which sucks because I was in the very top position in my brother's business. And I completely washed that away by canceling my account. So that really sucked. But anyway, I was working in the same building as my brother. I had just graduated college. I was out of school for a year. My brother was a CPA in the same building that I was working for, and we met up for lunch one day. And he had really been working on his business with Beachbody. And he was sitting outside with me, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to go back inside. Like, it's so nice out. And he was like, well, if you just like did this business, like you could quit your job. And I was like, no, you can't quit your job with that. Like, you don't make much money with it. And he showed me his paycheck, and it was more than I had made in my, he was making more on the side than I was making at my full-time job while he was still CPA, which is like, if you know CPAs, it's like 80 hours a week. So I was like, holy crap, what are you doing? And he was like, meet me tomorrow and I'll show you, like, I'll train you and everything. So I signed back up, and from that day forward, I just went all in with it. So I'm actually, I think I credit a good amount of my success to the fact that I took so long to commit that I have patience with a lot of people. And I don't, I don't get discouraged when somebody quits, or I don't get discouraged when people say no over and over or whatnot, because I did that same thing. And in my mind, I think that like that next person will be there who was like me, that just needs to sit and watch and see the proof of it. So that's kind of how I got started. It was kind of longer than I had anticipated saying, but anyway, that was 3.5 years ago. After like 6 months, I like really started to see some traction. I had gotten to Diamond quickly. And I just was like, all right, I think I can really do this and like make this a full-time career. So I just started to like really put in the time after work. I was working 45 hours a week. I had a 45-minute commute each way. I was getting up early. I was, utilizing my lunch break. And I was putting in at least 2 hours a night during the week after work. And then on the weekends, it just kind of depended if it was a busy weekend or not. But there were definitely at least like 1 to 2 weekends a month where I was like, all right, it's all Beachbody. And it would be like 6 to 8 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday, to, pick up momentum. And then the other weekends, it would just be here and there. But basically, it's just consistency and doing it day in and day out. And for me, I would rather do that than go work at a part-time job at the mall and collect a paycheck that, maybe you'll get more in that moment, but there's no residual aspect to that. And you have to keep going back and back and back to earn that same small paycheck. So I was just kind of used my brother as my leading path and just kept doing it. But yeah, so that's kind of my story. And I think, like I was saying, the biggest thing for me is just the consistency of it and the daily tasks. And I honestly don't have like crazy graphics, and I don't even have a website other than my Beachbody website. I don't have anything like crazy fancy stuff like that. I just keep it really simple, and I share my to-do lists with my coaches, and they tailor them to their needs and stuff. But I'll just share my screen. First, I wanted to share this image that I basically, share to my coaches all the time. And this is how I created a 6-figure income in less than 3 years, or 2 years actually. So I read personal development every day. I drink my Shakeology. I do my workouts. I share on social media every day. I'm myself. I'm real. I'm not perfect. I make new friends every single day on Facebook and Instagram, and I keep in touch with the old people that I've connected with. I get people started in challenge groups. I guide them through a challenge group. I convert them to coaches, either for the business or for the discount. And then I teach them how to do steps 1 through 4. And then I treat them as challengers and just keep them in the step 3 if they're just discount coaches. And I repeat that every single month. And it's really that simple. It's just a matter of doing it every single day. So I have this to-do list, and my coaches tailor it to fit their needs. They can copy it into their own document and then, fill it in whatever they need to. But I'm just going to kind of walk you through it. So I think business hours are something that people underestimate. And I think it's such a powerful thing to set business hours. If you want this to be a successful business, you really have to treat it like a real business. And you don't just show up an hour or two late to your 9 to 5 or skip 2 days or 3 days a week at your 9 to 5 job and not expect to get fired. And that's the same thing that you have to go into with your own business. I feel like a lot of people don't click when you say like treat it like a business, because not most people are working for somebody else. So you have to, the way I think of it is you have to treat this like a job. You have to treat this like if you don't show up, you're going to get fired. So I set business hours for myself. When I was working full time, I was getting up at 5 a.m. and I was did my workout. I would share a post. I would read my personal development. I was getting up an hour and a half earlier than I actually needed to. I started utilizing my commute time. I would take the train. And I could do stuff on my phone, or if I had to drive, then I could listen to podcasts and stuff on the way there. I started actually taking a lunch break instead of, sitting at my desk and working through lunch or talking to friends or, getting lunch with people. I actually would leave my office and go sit somewhere and work for 45 minutes to an hour on my own business. Commute time back. And then at night I would have usually 2 days that were 4 hours when I got home, and then the other days it was only 1 or 2. But each week, so I have these printed out, and each week you can sit down on Sunday and say, okay, on Monday these are going to be my business hours, and put those times in. And maybe you literally only know your schedule the day before. You can schedule those times in, and then the actual amount of hours that you spent. So maybe your business hours were clocking in to be 3 hours for that day, but you really only did 2 hours, then you would clock in that you did 2 hours for that day. And I only count it if it's actual productive time. Sitting on Facebook does not mean you're building a business. You have to actually be inviting and following up and doing all of those things, not just sitting on Facebook and looking through groups or your wall or whatever. So I actually clock in for set times, and I don't count my personal development and my workout. Those are things you should be doing anyway. But I just count actual physical time sitting down, and everyone's are going to be different. I have some coaches who, are putting in 1 hour a day, versus then I have some coaches who are putting in 6 hours a day on top of full-time jobs. And then some who are now doing it full-time. So everyone's hours are different. And then I just have my set calls for the week. And then personal development, how many minutes you want to do, proof of the product. So that's easy. Did you drink your Shakeology, rate your workout on a scale of 1 to 5. This is something I do in my challenge group, so I just put it in here too. But 5 was that you went all in, or 1 was you slacked. And then same with eating healthy. Posting on social media. So setting your goal for how many times you want to post on social media for the day. I typically do anywhere from 2 to 3 times a day. It's typically 2 times probably. And then setting your goal of how many people you want to invite each day. And just something that I do, if your goal is 10 people a day and on Monday you only did 8, then on Tuesday you would do 12. And that's just kind of helpful for me. If you want to set a goal for the week, maybe your goal is 70 for the week. Then maybe this day you do 15, but then that day is going to be busier, so you can do less, and it just kind of evens out for the week. Or you want to really load it up during the week so you can take the weekend off. That's something that just kind of helps me. And then same for follow-ups. How many people are you going to follow up with? And for invites, I consider an invite like inviting to a challenge group, a free group, or a sneak peek group or whatever. And then following up is, following up with someone, if they watched a video, or you would send them an invite or whatever. And then adding new people on social media. So I'm not sure exactly where you guys do your inviting and stuff. I do mostly Facebook, on Instagram as well. So adding new people, following new people, expanding your network, friends of friends, different groups that you're in. I add myself to tons of different groups. I use the events tab on Facebook. I love that, to see local things that are going on. You can search, fitness events in your area, or just, I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. I'm in 4 Bernese Mountain Dog groups, and I have 5 Bernese Mountain Dog mom coaches on my team now. So just connecting with people who have similar interests with you, even if it's outside of health and fitness. Messaging the new people. So I'll go through and see who is accepting my friend request and start up conversations with them, form them, just build that relationship, see if it's something that could move into you inviting them to something. Messaging people who like your posts. So I just go to my post from the day before, and I reach out to people who like them that aren't coaches, and some even posts that aren't fitness related or anything, like, or maybe I just shared a recipe. Like I shared like a fajita recipe yesterday, and I reached out to people who liked it today, and I was like, hey, thanks for liking my fajita recipe. It was so easy. Let me know if you try it. I'd love to hear what you thought. So just starting that conversation that way, or maybe you see them consistently commenting on pictures of your kids or your dog or whatever else. I reach out for pretty much all my posts and connect in some way, especially posts that are like targeted towards a challenge group or something like that. But that's a great way to continue to build the relationship. And that's an easy way to invite, reaching out to people who like your posts. And then birthdays. So I just go through and privately message people on their birthday and wish them a happy birthday, see if they're up to anything, and just basically be a nice person and, connect more with them. And then interest groups. I don't know if you guys know what interest groups are, but they're basically like mini news feeds. I can show you. Do you guys know what interest groups are? No? Rose? No? Okay. So interest groups are, you can go to this interest button and it creates mini news feeds. So then I just put them in my favorites, but I have a news feed that's just, I don't know why it says this, but it's just my coaches, like my personally sponsored coaches, and then a few in my downline that are doing really well. And it's just an easy way for me to not scroll through a news feed and filter through people, but to just specifically see my coaches and what they're up to. So that's really helpful to have that. And then also one for my challengers. So that I change it out every month. And then I have another one that's like past challengers, but that way I can just kind of quickly go through and see what my challengers are up to. And then I do have one that's it says future tenaciousers. My team is Team Tenacious. So I just have, these are people that I'm like, following that I think would be great coaches, or, I'm still connecting with them or whatever. So I have an interest group for them as well too. So it's just an easy way for you to see what people are up to without just scrolling through a regular news feed. It's tailored to specific people, and they can't see that they're like in a specific news feed. But I have a video on how to actually set them up. I can send that to you guys if you want. Okay, so I go through and I do that. That, takes like 5 minutes max. And then just checking in my groups, my coach group, my challenge groups, any training groups that I have going on, just making sure I go in there. My online office, that's pretty self-explanatory. Your customer orders, news and alerts, sponsorship drill down, and then and any recognition in my challenge groups or in my coach group. And then I think this one is a little bit, so then I have them printed out, and then I just work from that list every day. And then my coaches have theirs printed out too. And we have like a daily thread in our coach group. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see. And I'm going to show you what one of my coaches looks like. I don't know. I just think working from a list is so helpful. Okay, here's like an example. And then some use different ones, like he uses Team Z. But I just do a daily thread every single day in my coach group to post your completed to-do list. And, did you do the 4 vital behaviors if you don't want to post your to-do list? But so then I just have them, they comment in here. It helps me see what my coaches are doing and if what they're doing matches what they say their goals are. So if I see, let's say Kat wants to quit her job and in 6 months and she's only putting in 30 minutes a day, then that would be, an indication for me to be reaching out to her and seeing what's up and stuff. So that's just helpful for me to see. see their lists. Yeah, so that's kind of, and then some of them, you know, do paper or whatever. But so that's really helpful. And then I just do like a so I do that every day, and then I tally it. I have my assistant do it, but he tallies all the names up and how many times they commented on the threads. And then anyone who has at least 4 days that they wrote their to-do list on there, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. I'll set up a one-on-one call with them, but I won't unless they're posting their to-do list in my coach group on the thread. So I can't really, for me anyway, I can't really set up a call with someone and know how I can help them if I don't know what they're doing the past week and, you know, before that anyway. So that's really helpful for me. And then I'll just quickly show you guys what my challenge groups look like, because that's where I get most of my coaches is from my challenge groups. Okay, so that one just started. So let me see. So we do, you know, the daily threads and stuff, but something that's been really helpful is these consistency threads. So every day I have a morning check-in and a nighttime check-in, and then they get tallied each day and posted in the challenge groups. It does take time. I used to do them myself, but I've outsourced it. But it's really helpful. People get like competitive in there and they want to have like perfect scores each day. And then I just go live in the group and do a raffle each week, like something small for anyone who had that week, like a 7 out of 7, and then the last week a 21 out of 21. And it just helps me see who's actually participating in the group. The daily threads are, you know, something different each day. Like yesterday was having them post on their personal page their meal prep and to share the thread below or to share the screenshot below. And then my nighttime check-ins are like I was showing you on that page. Rate your positivity for the day, rate your eating, rate your workout. Did you have your Shakeology? How much water did you have? And did you use any of the performance line? I really like this. It's helpful for me to see like, okay, like she rated it a 2, then I can reach out to her and, you know, encourage her and help her and cheer on those that are having, you know, high days with their positivity and whatnot. Or, you know, she had a 333. How can I help her raise that up going forward? So I like the nighttime check-ins too, for them to rate their days. And then, yeah, so that's kind of how I do the challenge groups in my coaching group. But the bulk of my business is honestly the invites and follow-ups. That's where you're going to, I don't know if any of you guys follow Melanie Mitro, but she actually made a video about that today. It was like her Tuesday video tip on YouTube. And that's what she said too. She was like, the bulk of it is like, you have to, in order to have a successful business, you have to be getting out there and inviting and stuff. So that's definitely the bulk of it. And I spend, if you noticed actually on that, that sheet actually, I don't think it had the bottom. Did I use all of it? Oh, sorry, I missed a few sections. And then to check in with your coaches and your challengers, and if you have any one-on-one calls. But if you notice, for me personally, like I put personal development and the proof of the product first, because those are things that I have to do for myself in order to, you know, give back to other people. I have to do my own workout. I have to do my own personal development, drink my Shakeology so I can talk to other people about it. And then I go into building my business. So posting on social media, my invites, my follow-ups, expanding and everything. And then as you see, then it goes into checking in with my challengers and my coaching group and, you know, checking all that information for my team. So I work on myself. I work on building my business, and then I work on helping my coaches and my challengers with their fitness goals and building their businesses. I think that's something that I notice people who, you know, you get to Diamond and you're so excited and you feel like a leader, and then you just get into management mode of just, you know, wanting to focus on your coaches, and your current challengers. But you have to be, you know, building your business at the same time, because you can't rely on that one person that you thought was going to be awesome to stick around for a long time. Because I've had Diamond coaches who have gotten to Diamond quickly and then they completely fall off and quit or just go inactive basically. So you can't necessarily just rely on, you know, that one person to get you to, actually my 5-star that when I hit elite last year, Only one of those people is still a diamond right now. I have all new people that are diamonds and just doing, more long-term and stuff. But so yeah, you have to constantly be building because not everyone's going to see that vision long-term. But that's kind of all I had. If anyone has any questions or.
No, that was awesome. That was good stuff. Was someone else talking?
I was just going to ask if she could share her document.
I was going to say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can share it, and then you guys can always copy it and paste it into your own Google Doc and then edit it however, you want, whatever works best for you.
No, I really love how you prioritize putting yourself first, because I think it's so easy just to wake up and check everything and be a checker, look in this group and that group. Okay, I'm cool. I'm doing my beach body work. And it's like you didn't do the most important thing, and you're leaving that to the last thing in the day. And if you do that, it normally doesn't get done. Do you plan out exactly what time you're doing it? I think in California, you were saying you say all right, 9 a.m. this is what I'm doing. 9:10 this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, and I know that doesn't work for everyone, but for me, I need real structure, and I'm not saying I'm really good with it all the time. I'm trying to find where my schedule is, but, okay. Yeah. Let me pull that up. This is actually not okay. This would be an ideal day, but that doesn't mean it always happens. But yeah, so I schedule it out kind of I do this full time now, so it's just me at home, but I schedule it out of get up, work out, shower, walk my dog. I have eggs even written in there. And then I'll do my 3 hours of work, break, and then I'll go to a coffee shop. And then I'm usually done by 5:30, which is a nice change from, when I was working full time. And then I'll do some calls at night and stuff. But so yeah, that's kind of written out. And then I do even have it I have another one that's set down to the hour. When I sit down at 9:30, I'll do, the invites first and then the follow. So I just follow that sheet. And I do look at the clock oh shoot, I've been sitting and responding to messages for an hour. I need to move on to the next thing. But I do invites and follow-ups. Let's face it, it's not the most fun thing all the time. For me, I love checking in my coach group and my challenge groups and seeing what everyone's doing in there. That's really fun to me, but I can get lost in there for ever. And I know that I can't just hone in on that. I have to continue to expand and build more people, or otherwise I won't have challengers in my next challenge group. So yeah, I do kind of sit down and have that scheduled out. I can't find another one. I think I have it on paper somewhere, but yeah.
No, I think that is super important, especially if I know for me, when I had a full-time job, it was kind of easier for me to because I only had a limited amount of time. But when you start, and I think right now, me and a few others who are stay-at-home moms right now have that, when you have that 24 hours and you can do not whatever you want, but you have that big span of time, really having that set schedule is going to save you big time, because the day can go by fast.
It is funny. I think we were talking about that before, but when I was working full time, I was more productive than when I first quit my job, the first probably 6 months of trying to figure it out and everything. I, like you said, when I was working full time, I only had the time that I had, and I had to, be useful with it. Whereas now I wake up and I'm oh, I have, I was sleeping in later, and I was enjoying it in the beginning, just relaxing more, but I did have to kind of get into a routine. So yeah.
I have a question.
Do you have any questions for me? Renee, you can go.
I have a question. So I'm obsessed with your form that. I'm so happy you're sharing that. I messaged Rose, ask her for that, please. But my question was, where you have in there, like message people that liked it, follow up with new messaging people. What are you writing in there? How many you've done? Are you writing their names in there, or how much time you've spent doing it? Like, what do you put there? Because that's a small little block for everybody that liked your post.
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. Let me see if I can pull up. So I'm only just tracking numbers in there. I'm not doing anything, let me just see if I can, but then I do track names. So that's another thing I didn't really talk about. You do have to have some sort of system of tracking. So I'll just share my tracking with you guys. Hopefully it's not like too overwhelming, but I know you can have this in the online office, just easier for me to see it here, but I track who ordered challenge packs from me, the date they ordered, have I set up a one-on-one call with them? Some of these I just have it filled in, and then I have they signed up as a coach yet, or have I converted them? And then I have, who's in my challenge groups each month. And then another thing I do is if they don't sign up as a coach after they do a challenge group or they did a sneak peek, I keep their names here. And every month I go back and re-invite people into my challenges so they can redo them. So for instance, I'll just go through, like I had a challenge group starting yesterday. And last week I went back through my old challengers and just sent them a message like, hey, you already have the 21-day fix. This is my next challenge group if you're interested. And she never responded, but she did join the group and she's in there just to hopefully, maybe it'll spark interest in them to get back on Shakeology or to reconsider coaching or whatever. So I do go back through and reinvite all my past challengers, and I just keep track of people who were in my sneak peek groups about coaching. I need to update these because some of them did sign up, but I have that. And then, on that sheet, it's literally just numbers or like a check mark. Yeah. Like for invites and like follow-ups and stuff, I do put like an actual number. Some of them are just literally check marks that I did them.
Task.
And then I do have like a follow-up sheet, like people I'm in mid-conversation with, people that I need to check back with next month because they said, to check back next month, or people who said no, and I'll just check back in a couple months. And then a list of people that I need to invite just kind of on my radar that I haven't invited yet. So I just have those 3 sections: mid-conversation, check back next month, and check back in a couple months. So that's kind of all I do for tracking, but tracking's huge. Like that, I just work from that list each month. And then actually one other thing I just wanted to show, so that you saw my to-do list, and then I had one of my coaches who she's in school full-time and she works part-time. So she's really busy. And she kind of took my list and kind of tweaked it to fit her. And she just does 2 power hours, and she has, she does one at 5 a.m. and then she does one at like 10 p.m. like crazy. But she basically took what I had and kind of tweaked it to herself. But most of them do the kind of the same thing I have, and just maybe add in boxes or take out ones that don't pertain to them if they don't want to do that. But having some sort of to-do list. I can share both of those.
And if you guys haven't noticed, she reaches out to massive amounts of people. Massive. So if you're asking how in the heck is she top 86 in the whole entire company, that is the reason. Like, look at her Facebook page, and not to like say, Lindsay Matway isn't awesome, but Amy for me seems like real, like a real person, like someone who doesn't wear. We in our leadership feed. One of our girls put Lindsay Matway's like baby photo, and she's like, who looks like that after they just pushed out a baby? Like, no one has fake eyelashes on after they have a baby. Like, give me a break. But Amy just seems so real in it. And I was saying this when we were, just getting on the call. It is so simple, but you just have to do massive action where you're just reaching out to many people. If you're saying I'm getting no, but you're only reaching out to 5 people, and it's the same 5 people over and over and over, then you're going to be going nowhere and just spinning your wheels. I don't know if you can add to that, Amy.
No, yeah, that's so true. that is like, you have to be expanding who's looking at your page. So like I was saying, like I'll go through to the events tab, groups, friends of friends, like I'll go to my friends list and hit the college button and see who my college friends are friends with that also went to the same college as me, that aren't coached if they're not a coach. So just expanding like people who I have mutual friends with. Yeah, so that's been really helpful.
Do you
And
send
then
them an ad right away? Do you message them?
yeah,
before you
so
add them?
I'll go through and I will add them as a friend. Like I'll go to like, let me just see if I can kind of show you. I'm actually getting close to hitting my max, so I need to but I'll just go to like my college button, and then, you know, like for instance, Rachel, I'll just give you an example. So she actually just signed up as a coach last month, but I added her through like a friend of a friend. I don't know if I can scroll back enough, but I literally just reached out to her. This was like a perfect example. So they're definitely not all like this, but I just said like, hey, Rachel, thanks for accepting my friend request. I saw you pop under people you may know, probably because we both went to Cortland. What year did you graduate? And, you know, she didn't respond right away. And I just kind of X out of the conversation. If they don't respond to it, I still keep them as a friend, but I don't like continue to message them. So she responded a couple weeks later and was like, sorry, it's taking me so long to get back to you. I noticed that you do Beachbody coaching. I've done 21 Day Fix, blah, blah, blah. I'm not the best salesperson, so I'm a little nervous about it. And then I responded back to her, and I just kind of, you know, I totally understand how you feel. I felt that same way. And then I just asked her if she would get on the phone with me and talk. Because she already had done the program. She just, you know, and she knew about coaching. So this was like obviously not the average person, but
He was following you.
yeah. And then I just like, we literally talked that day. I sent her some samples of Shakeology. And then she got in my challenge group. She already had the 21 Day Fix. And then the next month she became a coach. So yeah, that was just through literally, we had a few mutual friends that went to the same college. So I'll just literally, Brittany's actually a coach on my team, but if she weren't, we went to college together, I would click on her name and I would go to her friends. And then I would just go to her college button, and I would just kind of see if there's anyone that, you know, that I might know because we have other mutual friends in common. So like, for instance, this person, we have 8 mutual friends. I would add her as a friend. I only do it if I have at least like, you know, like 6 mutual friends or more. So that's, I mean, I have a lot of people that are coaches on my team who, probably like 5 people who've gone to the same college as me, but we didn't even know each other before. I've just added them through friends of friends. And same with just, I'll go to my hometown button and the current city button. But this events tab is awesome too. So I don't know, like once you start adding more people, they invite you to a bunch of things. So I'll just go through and look and see what events are going on in my area. You can also search your area to see what's going on. And there's usually some like fitness stuff. So I'll just go through and see who else is invited to them and see if I have any mutual friends with them. And like I said, some of them, like she's like awesome. One of my coaches, I had added her like probably 7 months ago, and she never responded to me. And after like 5 months of watching, you know, just seeing my profile and stuff, she liked one of my photos, and I reached out to her again because I saw she liked it. And I asked her if she, you know, was interested in one of my challenges because she liked one of the photos about it. And then she joined my challenge group and signed up as a coach. So I didn't like, you know, continue to message her if they don't respond to your initial ad, but I still keep them as friends.
Very awesome.
Very awesome.
Anyone else have any questions for Amy?
How many people do you invite normally a day?
I kind of try to do it for like the week, like at least 10 people probably. And that it's pretty easy. Like some days I'm like, I don't really have anyone to invite because I kind of like went through a bunch of people. But if you're continually adding new people every day, like 10 new people a day, maybe 5 of them or 4 accept your friend request, and you're constantly starting up new conversations within like, you know, a month of them, you know, talking to them, or, maybe the conversation goes stale, but it's been a couple weeks, and I might reach back out to them or go to their page and see what they're posting. So it varies, but I try to do like 10 a day. I add like 10, probably 10 people a day. And the key is to add people you have mutual friends with, because I personally probably wouldn't accept someone's friend request if I had no mutual friends with them.
And then you go back to make sure that they are friends with you, and then uncheck after a couple days.
What do you mean uncheck? Like
look to see who did not accept?
Oh, so all you have to do is you can see who has accepted your friend request. If you just go to your friends list and hit this recently added button, it filters your new friends. So it does it in order. So like you could, let's say yesterday you left off on messaging Lillian, you could start with Anna. And you can go through, and then I always have a couple two Facebook tabs open, so I can go to their page and see, okay, what was the connection? Did we go to the same college? Are we from the same town? Like, who are our mutual friends? So yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll just reach out to them. Yeah. And then, and you mean like the outstanding friend requests, like if they don't accept it, I'll just go through and clear those out. You can do that. Yeah, you can do that on your, let me see. If you go to your friends thing and then you go to this see all button, you can view your sent requests. Yeah, you can view the sent requests, and then you can check them. You can go through and do that. Probably once a week is good. I'll go through and just maybe delete a few of them so they're not sitting there.
All right, awesome. The voice was going in and out. I don't know if it was my internet or your internet, but I think I got it, and I think they got it too. Yeah, because I saw your one chick did like 20 friend requests a day.
Yeah. So yeah, I usually do like 10. It depends. Like sometimes Facebook will I don't really ever get it, because I think maybe because I'm doing people I have mutual friends with. But some people will get like flagged by Facebook if you're just adding a bunch of people that you don't have any mutual friends with. But I'll have days where I'll do like 0, and then, other days where I do like 10, and then other days where I do like 20 or whatever to like catch up. But like today I added 10 people. That's usually like my goal.
Sweet. All right. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I have one more quick question. This is random, but like when you add your friends and you're talking to them and you want to invite them to your like coach sneak peek, what do you normally do for your coach sneak peek things? A webinar, live videos, like what is it that you do?
I just do I do a 4-day sneak peek, and it's just like a post each day. I should go live in them. I'm not really good about doing that, but yeah, just a post each day. It talks about like challenge groups, what we do as a coach. I show them like a sample training video. But then I usually will try to get them if they're interested in it afterwards. I'll get them to do a challenge first before they sign up as a coach.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah.
Renee, did you have one more?
It's probably silly, but I'm always curious to hear. I just started messaging people when they like something Beachbody related, and I did like hey, thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. It can be scary putting yourself out there sometimes. I was just curious as to what do you say, because you're seem like a messaging maven here. So what do you usually go with when you do that? Because it's that's new for me, just reaching out from likes, because I get lots of likes on everything, but I'm just starting that, so I'm just curious.
I had the same question.
Wait, sorry. So you're talking about when people like your posts, what you say?
Not like a comment, like you posted a workout and they just liked it, and you're like, oh, I'm reaching out to you, boo, and you do. So I'm just curious as to what you say.
Yeah, so it depends on the post. Sometimes it'll just be like for instance, and I look at the post from the day before. So it'll be like, I'll just show you quick. So today I went through and I just reached out to people who liked my post from yesterday. And I like just basically talked about how like, you know, I was off track last week, but we have 4 weeks until Christmas, whatever. And then I just reached out to the people who liked it. And I was like, hey, thanks for liking my post about getting back on track. Like, you know, did you struggle over Thanksgiving too? So like, I'll just say that. And then it'll start up the conversation. And like, you know, I did that today this is yesterday's post. And, you know, some were like, oh my gosh, that spoke to me. I like feel like crap, but you're so right. We still have 4 weeks. Like you know, and then that was like, well, and then I was like, well, you should join my next challenge group. Like we're starting on this date, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I didn't even like open it up with like, do you want to join my next challenge? I just opened it up with like, ask, you know, hey, did you relate to that too? Or what's your plan to not feel sluggish for the next 3 weeks or whatever. And then it depends. Like I posted this picture of my dog. Like I'll look through to see who liked it and see if there's like, I don't, you know, recognize a name that's as often. And then that could be like, hey, thanks for liking my post. Like we haven't talked in forever. Like what's up? But if it's like, you know, the recurring same people that like the same photo just of my dog, then I don't like reach out to them every time. And then same with like I posted just that I was making fajitas and like I posted the recipe in the comments, but I just reached out to everyone and was like, hey, like, thanks for liking my post about, you know, my fajita recipe. Like, let me know if you try it and let me know what you think. So that was like an easy thing. And then tomorrow, like this was a post that I did today that was like a specific, you know, about my next challenge group. So, and of course those are going to get less likes because you have like that direct line in there, but you need those every so often anyway. So I'll reach out to those people who like it. And then, yeah, so
it seems like something I haven't done that I think is really great that you just said is you almost end them with a question. So they almost feel compelled to speak.
Yeah.
With like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then it's like, you know, like, so that's great to end that with a question. I'm going to incorporate that immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, questions. I try and do that like even when I'm following up with people or whatever, like just having a conversation, especially with new ads, because the conversations can really just die down quick if you don't have like a ton to talk about and you don't want to push it. Like if I go to someone's page and I literally have like nothing to talk to them about, like I can't find anything, then it's not really going to be a good fit anyway, unless they like one of my posts or something. So I don't try and like force it or anything, but I try and just pull things that I see on their page and keep asking them questions like, oh, what year did you graduate from? You know, we went to the same college, and they respond and I'll say, oh, what, like, did you major in? Or I see we have these mutual friends, like did we have some of overlapping classes together or whatever? So I try and kind of keep the conversation going.
So you message, when someone accepts your new friend request, you message them almost immediately, like within a couple days?
Yeah. I let it like sit in there and then I'll go through every day and see them. Sometimes I let it sit there for like a week so that they like, you know, maybe have time to like have me pop up in their news feed. But
got it. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, guys. Amy, that was awesome. Great info. And I think just hitting it on the nail of keeping things simple and just following that day in and day out. It doesn't have to be some fancy thing, but it's just stuff that has to be done. And then you can be like Amy and just being awesome and quitting her job. You go, girl. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.
bye.